morning, good morning, good morning. Happy Thursday, July 30th. We are flying through this year. It really does. It does seem like we are flying through because football's almost back already. It feels like the Super Bowl was just here, and now we're in training camp and getting right back into it, which I am not complaining about one bit, not one bit at all. If you guys are coming in and watching, make sure you hit that thumbs up button, subscribe, follow. I am live across all platforms, at least should be live on X, live on Twitch, live on YouTube. Make sure you go and follow or subscribe on any of those platforms. There's a lot to talk about. A lot went down yesterday. A lot of good news, a lot of bad news. We're gonna get into it as we get started here. The Tony Romo situation has just been. It's been crazy. There's been a lot that has come out, and you know what sucks is that we've gotten to a time where I watch some of these videos and I question if it's real, as in, like, is this AI? Just because of, I don't know. It just seems like every other video is a fake video, so it's like it's so hard to sit there and watch video and be able to say, hey, this is legitimate, or it's not, it's fake. So the fact that I even have to question some of these videos are pretty crazy. But I do want to, some guy made this video, and so Tony Romo got pulled over after a golf tournament in Wisconsin last week. And I guess Wisconsin's laws are completely different than a lot of places when it comes to OWIs, driving under the influence. So I want to show you guys this video because it is pretty crazy. He does a great job of breaking it down. So let's take a look at it. Right here.
The funniest part about Tony Romo getting arrested is everyone realizing how insane Wisconsin's drinking laws are, myself included. And you know that people from Wisconsin are drinkers, when the laws around drinking and driving basically give you a free DWI. So the other day, Tony Romo was in Wisconsin playing in a golf tournament where he shot 35 over, by the way. Not very good, Tony, but he got arrested for an OWI. Now in Wisconsin, an OWI is basically a DWI in any other state. But apparently Tony had a really sketchy field sobriety test, so he got arrested, cooperated, got booked, and then got released. Now nobody...
Which, if going back and looking at it, I didn't save all the other videos. There's more videos that came out. For one, there's a couple sad ones that you could see where he was clearly very uncomfortable. We know Tony Romo has had multiple back surgeries, and there's a video that came out where he was getting in the back of the car, and every time he got in the back of the car, you could tell he was just in a lot of pain, very uncomfortable. He kept getting out and all that. But at the end, like, the more I see, Tony was definitely drinking. I mean, at least from what I saw from the videos of him at the station, I would say yes, he was definitely drinking. But the thing that gets me with this situation is how it transpired, because he initially gets pulled over for cutting over the solid white lines that divide, from what I understood, when you're going on the on ramp, they have the solid white lines that pinpoint, that make a point before you merge on to the freeway, and he just went ahead and went over those solid white lines. That's why he got pulled over. So he gets pulled over. The cop, is asking him where he's going and all that. He's cooperating. He's not arguing. There's no, it's not getting aggressive, anything like that. And what I think triggered the officer to believing that he was under the influence, at least from my perspective, was him saying that he was coming from a golf course. So that's what I really think triggered her thinking that he was drinking. I think she was almost throwing a Hail Mary. But again, I don't know. Maybe she could smell alcohol on him. You can't, obviously through a video, you cannot tell that. She doesn't verbally say that either. And, maybe his eyes were a little glassy or cloudy that we can't pick up through a video. So maybe there's some signs that she saw outside of him going over that solid white line, because it's not like, from my understanding, it's not like he was like recklessly, like, when you see the classic drunk driver and he starts just like slowly going over and then cut back over and back over. I don't think it was anything like that. So I do think that him saying that he was coming from playing golf really pushed the narrative for her to push that he has been drinking. And turns out there hasn't been any like official release on because like he refused the breathalyzer and all that, but he definitely got a blood test because he was arrested, but they didn't release what those results were. So maybe he actually was actually drinking, and that, I obviously I do not condone people drinking and driving. You should get in trouble. It's just kind of how it unfolds. There's cameras, so you can just see how it unfolds, and I just didn't like how he was cooperating and all that. I just didn't see the signs from the initial spot of the traffic stop. Now, as time goes on and things start to unfold, yes, you could see how he probably was drinking. So, but either way, let's finish this video. This guy breaks down the Wisconsin drinking laws are just insane. So here we go.
Not very good, Tony, but he got arrested for an OWI. Now, in Wisconsin, an OWI is basically a DWI in any other state. But apparently, Tony had a really sketchy field sobriety test, so he got arrested, cooperated, got booked, and then got released. Now, nobody knows what Tony's BAC was, but what happens to you legally in the state of Wisconsin when you drive drunk is different from any other state in the country. Because as I was looking into this, I just realized that your first offense is basically a get-out-of-jail-free card. The first offense of an OWI in Wisconsin is a fine of $150 to $300 with a $435 surcharge.
That is insane. That is honestly insane. The fact that you can go and get pulled over for drinking and driving, and you're basically just getting a slap on the wrist. I think that's crazy. You know how many people have lost their lives, lost loved ones because of drinking and driving, and the fact that people can just get a slap on the wrist, pay a $300 fine, and that's the extent of it. It is crazy.
Your license revoked for 6 to 9 months. You got to take some courses, but there is no jail, and it's considered a civil crime. And this only stays on your record in the state of Wisconsin, and it does count towards future OWIs, but it will not show up on background checks because it is a civil forfeiture. Compare this to any other state in the U.S. You're looking at a misdemeanor and up to a year in jail. Like in New York, you can get a felony on your second.
And not to mention, like, I've known people that have gotten pulled over in for drinking and driving, and they're paying thousands of dollars in fines and paying for probation and all that kind of stuff. They're so like you're paying $10,000-15,000 for doing something like that, and seeing here that's crazy. It's just crazy to me that they basically, it's just like a slap on the wrist. Like I think he said that the license gets suspended. Is that what he said? Let's see.
Because as I was looking into this, I just realized that your first offense is basically a get out of jail free card. The first offense of an OWI in Wisconsin is a fine of $150 to $300 with a $435 surcharge. You get your license revoked for 6 to 9 months. You got to take some courses, but there is no jail.
Okay. So they're saying that you pay a fine, you get your license revoked for 6 to 9 months, and you get no jail. That's pretty light discipline for drinking and driving.
And it's considered a civil crime. And this only stays on your record in the state of Wisconsin, and it does count towards future OWIs, but it will not show up on background checks because it is a civil forfeiture. Compare this to any other state in the US, you're looking at a misdemeanor and up to a year in jail. Like in New York, you can get a felony on your second DWI. But in Wisconsin, it takes you 4 OWIs to get a felony. Now, in no way, shape, or form am I condoning drunk driving or driving under the influence, but Tony Romo did it in the best possible state to do it. I must say, you guys in Wisconsin, I think we all need to check on you. Okay? You guys are just, all you do is drink up there. What's going on? You need somebody to talk to?
That's crazy. It is really crazy. I do think it's I don't know. It's not like I want the worst for Tony Romo, but man, the fact that you're gonna get pulled over drinking and driving, allegedly, like there hasn't been no official like statement or anything that came out, but pretty much, drinking and driving, like, I mean, come on, the punishment for drinking and driving should not be that lenient in Wisconsin. That is just crazy to me. When I came across this video, I was shocked because I didn't know that, because where I'm from, Michigan, if you get pulled over drinking and driving, you're going to jail, you're on probation, you're paying thousands and $1,000 in fines. like paying $5, $10, $15,000. Like there's the punishment needs to be a lot more in Wisconsin. That's for sure. All right. Okay. So, if you guys have been on the internet at all, there's been a lot of training camp highlights coming out, and a lot of fights happening. Not a lot, I should say, but there are fights happening, and I do want to show one because, man, nothing gets me going more than a training camp brawl. And guess who's in the center of it? Guess who's in the center of the brawl? The number 1 ranked wide receiver, Jamar Chase. Here's the video. Jamar Chase is in the center of it. Right there. Boom. He has a helmet in hand. Throws the helmet. Let's go back. Watch. He rips the helmet off. throws it. Not nothing too crazy, but love a good training camp fight for sure. And he's out there talking his shit, as he should. Look at it. I don't even know who number 35 is, but man, he's trying to square up with Jamar Chase. He wants him to beat him off the line and beat his ass. Gotta love it. Gotta love a good training camp fight. Gotta love it. Let's get into some more news. So Jahmyr Gibbs, Bijan Robinson, and I believe Chris Olave all are holding out because they want contracts. The Gibbs and Bijan, I feel like that's going to be coming in the next. I feel like they're not going to let this push in too deep into training camp. They want those guys out there. I think there's a good chance that we see them get that done sooner rather than later. It's almost like they're waiting for one another, someone to make the deal, so then they can, up it. That's usually how it goes. One person makes the deal and then the other one says, okay, I want more than that. And I think that's kind of where we're at with that. But I do think we're going to see that get done sooner rather than later. And then the Chris Olave situation, I'm curious how long that goes. I don't really have a good read as far as how deep into the contract negotiations that they are. But yeah, he's holding out, as well as Gibbs and Bijan. So as expected for at least Bijan and Gibbs to hold out for their contracts. This is something that people were talking about leading up to training camp. Here we are. These guys want to get paid. Two of the best running backs in the league, both probably waiting on each other to kind of try to counter each other's deal and get more money. Another thing that I've seen, and I don't like doing this. I really don't. And I understand that there are going to be a lot of good clips that come out of camp, and there's going to be a lot of bad clips that come out of camp, and then there's going to be clips that we don't even see because they don't exist. But I don't want to over exaggerate, but Marvin Harrison Jr., I've seen some nice catches from him come out of training camp, but man, I don't know if it's just because he has the rep of dropping the ball, but I've seen way too many what should be easy catches, him dropping. And I'll show this video right here of someone put together a little compilation of Marvin Harrison, and then I think we'll see some Michael Wilson mixed in, which Michael Wilson, as of right now, I think he is the wide receiver one for the team, because the way that Marvin Harrison looks, it just does not look, he doesn't have that confidence. He doesn't have that aura that we see with like those elite wide receivers. He misses a catch and you could just see it on his face. Like it feels like he's just defeated. And we saw that a lot last season. He talked about it, about the mental side of things. And I think there was even an interview from this training camp that came out where where his comments kind of seemed like he lacked the confidence. And I'll let you watch this. And again, like this is like if you go and take someone's career and you just go and cut up all the bad stuff and all the drops and all that and say, oh, look how bad this guy is, but you're missing out on all the good stuff because people aren't sharing the good stuff as much. You know what I mean? So it's really hard to just look at a few clips and just kind of be like, oh yeah, this guy sucks. But this is an issue that we've seen from Marvin Harrison since he's been in the league. Someone that was supposed to be really, really good, and he's had a couple good games, but man, he's been a complete disappointment for what the expectation was. But let's watch this video here, and you can just see, man, you just see him. He just drops the ball so much. Watch. Oh, right off the hands. This is Michael Wilson. Nice catch. Marvin. But like, come on, dude. Oh, I see this, Michael Wilson. Like, look at this. This is like, I mean, like maybe the throws aren't like 100% the best, but like, or yeah, like a throw like that wasn't that great, but see, there's a catch. But look how Michael Wilson, I mean, he looks a lot more of a wide receiver one than Marvin Harrison. That is for sure. That is for sure. Because I mean, again, this is like this could have been out of 100 catches, and we're just highlighting the 5, 10, whatever it may be of the drops. So who knows exactly, but seeing him drop these kind of passes and just knowing that he has this issue and that it does affect him mentally, like I mean, even from training camp, I should have bookmarked it, but I saw even videos of him after dropping those passes, going to the sideline, one knee on the ground, and you could see the frustration in him, just like almost defeated. You just hate to see that. You just hate to see that for Marvin Harrison, because he was someone that was supposed to be really, really good. And like I said, he's had a couple good games, but outside of that, he's been pretty much a bust. And sure, let's blame the team, let's blame all that kind of stuff, but at the end of the day, man, you're getting the ball thrown right to you and you're dropping the ball. Like, that is the problem. The guy has bricks for hands out there. And as like I said, looking at these videos, these are just cut up videos, so who knows overall. But man, like, those are some easy, simple passes that you should be catching, and you're not. So, and like I said, look, that there are gonna be some catches here, so I'll show right here. Yeah, that's fine, but even how Michael Wilson is running, man, you can tell he's hungry. He looks good. Michael Wilson looks really good. And like, look how much faster, and yeah, he just, I don't know. I am definitely more higher on Michael Wilson coming into the season than I was a couple weeks ago. Just he had a really good year last year, Michael Wilson. Had a career year, actually, and let me pull up his stats. Like, Michael Wilson looked great last year. Yeah, he had just over 1,000 yards, 1,006 yards, 7 touchdowns, 126 targets, 78 catches. Yeah, he had some really big games last year. He had a game with Uh, 18 targets, 15 catches, 185 yards. That game was insane. That was against San Francisco too. They lost, but another game, 15 targets, 10 receptions, 118 yards, 16 targets, 11 catches for 142 yards and 2 touchdowns. I mean, he was getting the volume, and I thought it was just more of a product of, because like a lot of that came towards the second half of the year, so I kind of just put it all together as, one, the Cardinals were always playing from behind, and they're going to continue to play from behind. The team isn't in a good position right now. They're rebuilding, all that jazz. But I don't know. I just, coming into this year, I just had a feeling that there could be a turnaround for Marvin Harrison Jr. I mean, that was they invested a lot in getting him. He was a first round pick, and you would think that they would want to get him going, and I'm sure they're trying. But right now, Michael Wilson is the wide receiver one for the Cardinals. So you got Trey McBride, you got Michael Wilson, and then you got Marvin Harrison just trying his best. He's just, trying your best out there. But yeah, it's just a little disappointment for Marvin Harrison. I thought we'd see more out of him, for sure. Hope everyone has their coffee, getting them going for the day. I wanted to stream this morning. I eventually I'm gonna start streaming at night, but I streamed yesterday morning. I'm streaming this morning. I might stream tonight. I haven't decided yet, but I'm trying to figure out the best way to go about these streams, and trying to figure out the best schedule, how I want to go about it. There's a lot of fantasy NFL coverage that you can go find out there. I want it to feel more like, hey, we're hanging out, it's like we're in the basement, we're talking football, we're talking sports betting, we're just hanging out. And yes, I'm gonna give updates, and we're going to react to content and all that kind of stuff, but I by no means want it to feel like a ESPN show. You know what I mean? Like, this is not what I'm trying to do here. I'm trying to create somewhere where people can come hang out. Yes, I am very invested in the NFL and fantasy football. I love talking about it. I do a lot of research, and I love sharing my opinions and from the research that I do. And, hopefully that, I can give you my angle and help you make your opinion on it. But by no means do I think I'm an expert, or I claim I'm an expert, or anything like that. I'm just really, I'm trying to create a community here where we can just all come, and when I go live, we just hang out, we talk sports, and do the damn thing. Maybe this season we'll do some live watch-alongs. Well, we can't really watch the games, but go live and just watch the games together, even though we can't watch it on screen because I can't put the game on. But we could watch it together, and we can make bets and do that kind of thing. So if that sounds like something that you would like, make sure you're following, subscribe to the YouTube channel, follow over on Twitch. I'm live across all platforms right now. I don't even know. It's so much to track. So hopefully I'm live everywhere. I think I am. So as far as I know, I am. But yeah, so I just kind of want to get a good flow going. So if you're watching now or you're watching after the fact. I appreciate you being here. And yeah, we're just gonna keep on doing this, and hopefully you enjoy it, and we can turn this into something, because I really do enjoy talking sports. So with that being said, I want to get into some of the more news going around training camp, and we got to talk about this. Let me get it going. The San Francisco 49ers continue to deal with injuries, like a ton of injuries. And here's this it's cut out from an article. Shout out to Zane here. He pulled this from what seems from a New York Times athletic article, and here's what it says. It says 3 practices in and the 49ers are losing players at an alarming rate, including Ricky Pearsall. Okay, Ricky Pearsall, someone that a lot of people liked. Everyone thought he would be the wide receiver 2 behind Mike Evans, but he missed Wednesday's practice with some swelling in his right knee. Pearsall injured his PCL in the same knee in week 4 last season, caused him to miss 6 games. And it just has been like a reoccurring thing that, you know, he missed 6 games, he came back, and it's one of those things where it just started to bother him. But per reports, the 49ers are concerned, and it seems that there is a chance that he gets surgery. There, from what I've read, and you know, it says right here from this guy here, Zane. I'm not even gonna try to attempt saying his last name, but you can see his name on the screen, I believe. Yep. He says that it sounds like surgery is still on the table for Ricky Pearsall, and that would knock him out the whole season, the whole 2026 season. What does that mean? That means Deshaun Stribling hit his stock going up. Deshaun Stribling, he's been someone that, if you have been on X or pretty much everywhere, is talking about Deshaun Stribling making an impact at training camp, making plays, making catches, and he is a big dude. Let me see if I can find I had a video bookmarked of him. Right here. I mean, look at this guy. Deshaun Stribling he almost looks like Mike Evans big. And Mike Evans is a big boy. But there's Mike Evans right there. But he has the size, and now he's going to get the opportunity to go out there and make an impact right away, especially if these reports are accurate and we see Ricky Pearsall get surgery and miss the 2026 season. And not only that, Mike Evans, I love Mike Evans. I hate the term injury prone, but man, he is up. I mean, he's up there in age. He has the miles on him. He has the track record of missing time with injuries because of his age. And you know, we've seen Mike Evans deal with hamstrings injuries. Seems like it happens. He misses some amount of time each season due to a hamstring injury. Right now, he is the wide receiver 1 for the 49ers. Is he going to be able to go out there every game and play 80% of snaps, 70% of snaps, and stay healthy throughout the entire season? Maybe that happens, but that is very uncertain to me. And if I had, and I am a betting man, but if I was a betting man, which I am, I would bet that there's a good chance that we see Mike Evans miss some sort of time this season due to some kind of hamstring injury, that kind of stuff. So what does that mean? That means Dejon Stribling gets the opportunities to one, if Ricky Pearsall is out, that means the 49ers are going to lose Ricky Pearsall. There's a good chance that Christian Kirk, who's dealing with a calf sprain, they brought him in this offseason. He's dealing with a calf sprain. Doesn't sound good for him. So Dejon Stribling is getting the opportunities, and he's making himself known at training camp. So what does that mean? Well, fantasy football, we love these kind of players. We'll see. I mean, we're still so far out from drafts relatively. A lot will change in the next few weeks throughout training camp as more and more information comes out and we can make more decisive decisions. But with more decisive decisions becomes more players getting talked up, and then when players get talked up, their ADPs go up. So players that were going undrafted, like Dejon Stribling, who's been going undrafted, is going to start getting drafted higher and higher and higher. So by the time we get to the end of August, which a lot of people, that's when a lot of drafts start happening. End of August, early September. A lot of people like doing it, day before the season starts, a week before the season starts. So by the time we get to that point, I think it's gonna be his price is gonna be a lot higher. I see him. I could see him going as high as like being drafted. And this is if we get confirmation of like him being the what I would call the wide receiver 2 on the team. I could see him going in the 6th round for sure. Getting boosted up. Right now he's going undrafted. So the fact that he's getting talked up, I am expecting his ADP to rise, which rightfully so. But man, that is one of the toughest parts about covering fantasy football, is that you identify players that are in good situations, and the training camp goes on, and you're just like, okay, ooh, I love someone who I love this year, DJ Moore. Love DJ Moore this year. I think he's a great value. I think he's one of the best wide receivers that you can grab in the later rounds. He's going right now, I believe he's going in the 5th round. I love that value. Goes to the Bills with Josh Allen. Don't need to give you the whole spiel. I love the situation. But as time goes on, we're going to get more and more highlights come out of training camp, and all those highlights do is boost ADP. And the value of DJ Moore, that was a 5th round pick, which I love, is going to boost up, and now he's going to be going, he could go into the 4th round now. You know what I mean? So as training camp goes on, more highlights come out, people are talking up players, ADPs are going to rise, and that's the most frustrating part of covering fantasy football. I've been doing research for now over, like, good solid research for about over a month now, and there's just players are just going to start skyrocketing, and those values that you fall in love with aren't as good as values, and maybe not as good as values, wrong, but just the cost that you're paying for the players are just going to go up as training camp goes on. It is super frustrating, but hey, that's why we play the game. We love it. But Ricky Pearsall isn't the only injury for the 49ers. Their running back Jordan James suffered a rib injury, which is pretty crazy. They must be hitting pretty good out there. They're not even in pads yet. Dealing with the rib injury that is expected to sideline him for a little bit. So they're dealing with more, I believe offensive linemen. There was someone on the defense as well. There's a good laundry list of people getting hurt for the 49ers yet again. But most notably is Ricky Pearsall right now. So definitely a shame for Ricky Pearsall, because he has had a rough go ever since coming in the NFL. Gets shot, and then he comes back, and I think he suffered another injury. So, the knee injury, the PCL. He suffers a PCL injury, and then now he's dealing with it again, and potentially going to be missing a whole another season. So, he's missed a lot of time so far. Pretty unfortunate for him. Hate seeing it. You never want to see someone. I don't care. At the end of the day, these guys are humans too. So you gotta imagine, one, the pain that they're going through. Two, just the mental side of things. Definitely probably gets pretty frustrating, especially for someone like Ricky Pearsall, who's constantly been dealing with injuries throughout his career in the NFL so far. And I believe I saw somewhere too that he didn't even miss any time when he was in college. So yeah, he comes to the NFL and now he's dealing with all these injuries, and hopefully he can get through it, get this knee cleaned up. If that's what happens. There hasn't, that's only been speculation that he will likely need surgery and could be out this season. But T's and P's to Ricky Pearsall and the 49ers. I mean, so they need to do something over there. They need to go bring some sage in there, or they need to do something. They need to get some more milk in that training room, or what. I do not know. Or maybe it's that electric field that the electric field theory, because there's that electric plant that's nearby the training facility, and there's been theories that has contributed to the amount of injuries that the 49ers has been dealing with. And it's just crazy, because it seems like the last few off seasons, it's just been injuries galore for the 49ers, and not only through the off season, throughout the season as well. Just seems like the 49ers have been very injury prone, and people trying to find a link to it and linking it to the electric field theory. We'll see. But yeah, definitely sucks for the 49ers. Another injury, but not too crazy. Atlanta Falcons quarterback Tua Tagovailoa, he was dealing with some back tightness, but he returned to practice today, so all things are good there. Looking at that Falcons quarterback battle between Tua and Michael Penix. Michael Penix is not cleared yet, so Tua is the guy right now, and I do think that there is if I was a betting man, which I am, I would put my money on Tua being the starter to start the season for sure. And the reason why, one, Michael Penix coming off of an ACL injury, which he has had multiple knee injuries now, and will he be able to come back and be as efficient and all that? But not only that, they brought in a whole new coaching staff this offseason, which means that's not their guy. They didn't bring in Michael Penix. They didn't go out and draft Michael Penix. Now they go in and bring in Tua. He gets let go from the Dolphins. They bring in Kevin Stefanski. They bring in Tua. We'll see how it goes. I personally think Tua is the starter for this team. And I think it's going to be a pretty tough battle for Michael Penix to win that starting job. Personally, I could have the wrong read on it, but I personally think it's going to be hard for him to go out there and win that quarterback battle. There's a couple other quarterback battles we need to discuss, and here. So, we got the Minnesota Vikings. This is one of the bigger quarterback battles. Is Kyler Murray and JJ McCarthy, and so far there hasn't been a read on which way that the Vikings are going to go. Early on, before training camp started, Kevin O'Connell made it sound like he didn't want this to get drawn out too long into training camp. So in my head, I was like, okay, doesn't want it to get drawn out. So what does that mean? That means that probably 2 weeks in, we should know. Okay, so once we get pads on, which we are a couple days away from pads being put on, and then we should know by next week, I think. If Kevin O'Connell sticks to his word about not wanting it to be drawn out and be this whole lengthy battle throughout training camp, unless it turns in that because it becomes that tough. But personally, I think Kyler Murray wins the job. He is someone, I mean, everyone thinks Kyler Murray's going to win the job. It's just JJ McCarthy just did not look good. Not only did he not look good, I feel like his character, the whole 9 thing and all that kind of stuff. I think when you're acting like that, when you're around, I mean, if I was in that locker room, I was on that team, and my quarterback was acting like that. I mean, to be honest, like, I wouldn't buy into it. I would not buy into JJ McCarthy because it seems so unauthentic. Like the way that he was acting, and his speeches, and like the way that he was, it was just terrible. Everyone saw the 9 meme. I mean, we all saw it, and it's just hard for me to see him be the starter. I really do think that we see Kyler Murray get the start when we get to week 1. But yeah, that is another quarterback battle to monitor. Let me think. Is there any other ones that we need to? Cleveland Browns, Deshaun Watson and Shedeur Sanders. That one I think is going to go all training camp. I don't think we're going to get the starter until end of training camp. I really do. Maybe they do announce it, but I feel like that is a situation that we do see get drawn out throughout training camp. I've heard that Deshaun Watson looks like the one that's going to be the starter, but again, we're not going to know. This is going to be a quarterback battle that goes throughout training camp. And I don't think what was the new head coach name? Tom Munkin, I believe, is Todd or Tom. I think it's Todd Munkins new head coach for the Cleveland Browns, you know, he says that he likes both Deshaun Watson and Shedeur Sanders. So at least we know it's between those two quarterbacks, because I don't know if you remember last season or last offseason, this time last year, Cleveland Browns had like 5 or 6 quarterbacks that they had on their roster. They had Dylan Gabriel. They had, I believe they brought in Joe Flacco. They had Deshaun Watson. They had Shedeur Sanders. And then maybe they brought in, I'm pretty sure they brought in one more. But yeah, it's just, that definitely feels like a situation that we see get drawn out more towards, and we'll find out more towards the end of training camp rather than finding midway through. As like I said, I feel like the Viking situation, I feel like Kevin O'Connell's going to have a good idea once they get pads on. And I, you know, based off of what we heard from him this off season, I would expect some kind of decision made sooner rather than later. What other quarterback battles am I not thinking of? Let me see. As I'm just hanging out here though, make sure you guys, if you're watching live, if you're watching after the fact, hit that thumbs up button, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on anything. Like I said, I'm gonna be going live a whole lot more, hanging out, just talking, bullshitting, hanging out, talking some fantasy football. I'll be putting out some more fantasy football content, you know, my shorts, all that kind of stuff. We're gonna be getting into a mock draft here pretty soon as well to wrap up the stream. But there's a couple more things I wanted to get to before getting into the mock draft. Let me see. I'm trying to find my list of my quarterback battles that I wanted to monitor this season. Okay. Yeah, so the main 3 is Vikings, Browns, Falcons, and then obviously the Raiders. We're like, it seems that they want to start Kirk Cousins over Fernando Mendoza. They want him to they want him to sit. They do. From what I've read everywhere and all the reports that have come out, they would rather Kirk Cousins start this season. And from what I saw, hope that Kirk Cousins can make it through the season and be the starter and allow Fernando Mendoza to sit back, learn from Kirk Cousins, who is a, you know, I mean, you can say what you want about Kirk Cousins, but there was a solid, you know, 4 or 5 seasons that he was really good, you know, and then he suffered the Achilles injury, and then it's kind of been not so great since then. And now, you know, he gets moved from the Vikings and then he goes to the Falcons. He gets to start, and then it just falls apart. They draft it. That was a whole nother thing. The Falcons go out and draft Michael Penix the same year that they bring in Kirk Cousins, give Kirk Cousins a massive contract, and go and spend a first round pick on a quarterback. And you're just like, what the hell are they doing? He ends up getting the start over Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins sits behind him, all that jazz. And here we are. He's now with the Raiders, and the expectation is that he's going to get to start there. So we got the Vikings, Kyler Murray, JJ McCarthy, Browns, Deshaun Watson, Shedeur Sanders, Falcons, Michael Penix and Tua, and then Raiders, Fernando and Kirk Cousins. But the Raiders situation right now, I think it's pretty clear that Kirk Cousins is going to be the guy, unless he is just like so bad that they're just like, we would rather just start Fernando. But I don't see that happening because Tom Brady is involved a lot with the decision making with the Raiders, and he has always said that throwing rookie quarterbacks out there early on is not, he doesn't like that, you know. And that's coming from Tom Brady, who wasn't a starter right away. He did sit behind was it Drew Bledsoe, I believe it was, that he sat behind in New England before he got hurt, and then he came in. So I would assume that I would say there's a 75% chance that Kirk Cousins is the starter, if not higher, come week 1 for the Raiders. All right, so talked about the quarterback battles. We talked about the injuries for the 49ers. Talked about fights. Talked about Jameer Gibbs. Blah, blah. I got my little checklist here of things I wanted to hit on. Taysom Hill. Yes, let's pull that up. So Taysom Hill yesterday. If you're a Saints fan, it's gotta hurt a little bit, just because Taysom Hill, man, that dude, I mean, he pissed a lot of people off stealing touchdowns on the goal line, that's for sure. But yesterday, Taysom Hill released a statement. Let's see. Taysom Hill, statement from him says, for the first time, or for the last 9 years, New Orleans has been so much more than the city where I played, where my family built a life, where our oldest son was born, and where we formed relationships and made memories that will stay with us forever. Taking time this off season to think carefully about what comes next for my family and me. I still don't have a clear answer about what the future holds, but I know that returning to New Orleans is not in the cards. As training camp begins, I didn't want my silence to be misinterpreted, and as hard as it is to put into words, I want to express my gratitude to the city of New Orleans. Thank you. I had always heard, if you love New Orleans, New Orleans will love you back. That could not have been more true. You exceeded every expectation I had of what it would be like to live and play in a city. The passion, loyalty, and support you showed my family and me over these 9 seasons were truly one of a kind. We will always be grateful for the way you embraced us both on and off the field. So many people throughout the organization, you helped make me a better player, but more importantly, a better person. I feel incredibly fortunate to have worked alongside so many great people, and I'm grateful for everything we experienced together. I'm still working through what comes next, but I couldn't move forward without taking the time to say thank you, New Orleans. You will always hold a special place in our hearts, and we will always be cheering you on. So to me, that seems like there's a good chance that we see Taysom Hill retire. That's kind of what I got out of that. Maybe he gets some kind of offer from a team that he's like, okay, well, I can see myself playing here. But like, is he going to go play for a team? Let me think of a terrible team. Like, is he going to go play for the Dolphins? You know, I'm not saying the Dolphins would go out and play, go and get him, but like, would he want to go play for a team like the Dolphins, who, you know, you're not going to win anything there this year? His if he has anything left in the tank, he's gonna want to go somewhere that's a winner. But I don't know where I would see a good fit for him. So for me, I this kind of seems like almost a retirement for Taysom Hill. But I mean, honestly, what a career for Taysom Hill. What a career. Because when you go look through his stat lines, he had some really, really good games. And, you know, he was quarterback for a little bit, and then he was tight end, and then they would put him at quarterback, and you had him in your tight end position, and you got quarterback point. You know what I mean? Like, he was a fun player to have in fantasy football, and fun player to watch. But you know, with New Orleans, obviously Drew Brees left, and it kind of just it's been pretty rough. You know, you had Derek Carr come in for a little bit, but yeah, it's been pretty rough. And Taysom Hill has dealt with some injuries and all that. I just don't. I think that was a retirement for Taysom Hill. I mean, I don't know what you guys think, but that to me seems like a potential retirement for Taysom Hill. Another thing I wanted to bring up, and honestly, very, very encouraging, especially if you are a New York Giants fan, and if you are, you probably already know what I'm gonna bring up. I have it saved. Where is it? If you're hanging out right now, make sure you hit that thumbs up button. I hate asking for likes, but man, I really I hate asking for that kind of stuff, but it helps for creators and stuff. That leaving a like goes such a long way. So if you can hit that like button, it does help out a ton. It helps boost me in the algorithm. It helps me out what I'm building here, get more eyes. Let's build this community up. I'm working on so much stuff right now. I was up until like 2 a.m. last night coding a website. I'm gonna have a website together hopefully soon. So make sure you are following along, join the community, and it does help us out, or helps me out a ton, just with a simple like, and it's completely free for you to do. Okay, I'm trying to find this video. Here it is. Okay, like I said, if you are a New York Giants fan, you probably already saw this, but man, Malik Neighbors, man. We thought coming into the season it was so hard to get a read on. I mean, there was reports saying that he wasn't going to be ready for week 1, and you know, you had the video come out of him at the baseball game. And you know what? Hold on real quick. I need to find that video. Let me find that video, because that was not too long ago. Let me see. Malik Neighbors running. I don't know how I'm gonna find this video. It shouldn't be that hard. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna shut the volume off. Well, okay, so look at this video from This was the video was posted on May 31st, so sometime around in May. And here is Malik Neighbors at a charity baseball event, I believe. Look at him. You know, obviously he's not running
That wasn't good.
crazy. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like he was running full speed or anything like that. But if you watch, it almost looks like his like drag. Like, I don't know. It did not look good. So everyone was all up in arms, and everyone, you know, reports are coming out that there's a good chance that he's not going to be ready for one and all this kind of stuff. But he's back, and maybe I underestimated him. And I did. I will say, maybe I underestimated him, and I did. Look at Malik Neighbors yesterday. I mean, are you kidding? Are you kidding? Look at explosiveness. Stop. Cut. Boom. Boom. I mean, he doesn't look like someone that was dealing with a knee injury. That's for damn sure. So, all those concerns about Malik Neighbors. Now, he hasn't been like right now. Week 1 is still up in the air. But this is some promising stuff right here. Seeing him run that fast and then stop, do the cut, boom, catch. He just looks great. He looks great out there. Giants fans have to be excited about that. So solid stuff for the Giants there. And I saw some good stuff come out about Cam Scatterboo, that he's looking good, solid, on track for week 1. So Malik Neighbors, not, you know, like I said, week 1 is still up in the air, but I mean, he does look good. It doesn't look like that knee is bothering him much, if at all. So very, very encouraging signs there for Malik Neighbors. Okay. The last thing before we get into this mock draft, because it is 11 o'clock and I need to get going here pretty soon. And like I said, there's a good chance that I go live again tonight. I'm trying to figure out like the best way to go about this. Let me. If you haven't yet, if you are on X, that's what I wanted to get into before I get into this next thing, because we need to talk about this Madden top 10 ratings in Madden. We gotta talk about it. I honestly hate that I feel this way, because I know so many people are gonna just give me shit and all this stuff. But let's start with the quarterback rankings, because God, this pisses me off. How the hell is Caleb Williams number 9? It drives me insane. I'm not saying Caleb Williams is a terrible quarterback. I'm not saying that he can't be a top 10 quarterback. But right now in his career where he is at, he is not a top 10 quarterback. I am sorry. It's just not. He is not. I'm like, the fact that he is a top 10 quarterback right now is I just don't see it. I'm sorry. I think he has a lot of potential. I think he can be that good, but he is not that good right now. And everyone is just boosting him. It's like, because he's on the cover of Madden, there's been so much push. Caleb Williams. Like, they want him. That is the script that they got. Everyone, let's push Caleb Williams. And it's like, I don't see it right now. I'm sorry. I just do not see it. Like, accuracy is a problem for him. He hasn't, he didn't even get over 4,000 yards last season. He was close. But it's like, not only that, if you look at the games last year, he was terrible through 3 quarters, and then fourth quarter comes, and then, then the magic happens. But like, that magic is not going to continue to happen. And not only that, the defense made him look so much better than he actually was, because the defense kept them in games. Getting so many turnovers. They had so many turnovers that's not going to happen this year. Year over year, that's not going to happen. The amount of takeaways that the Bears defense had last year is not going to happen again. So Caleb Williams being a top 10 quarterback, it's just like, I get it. He's in the top 10 because he's on the cover of Madden. And it just makes me mad. Because it's like, one, Jared Goff, my guy, is under him, for one. Jared Goff has been a top 5 quarterback for the last 4 years and continues to get the disrespect, as well as the Lions as a whole, which is fine. Doubt us. We'll see. Once we start winning games, everyone that was talking shit about the Lions, they're going to learn who we are, and then they're going to be like, oh yeah, you got the easiest schedule. So what? Yeah, we do, and we're going to go out there and win those games. But the Lions have been I don't even know why I'm getting into this whole Lions spiel, but the Lions was top 5 in points last season with which was a terrible season overall. Went 9-8, but coming into the season, they dealt with a whole lot of injuries, of course. A lot of injuries. You lose Branch, you lose Kirby Joseph, Terrion Arnold. See you later, by the way. But, it's like they lost their center, unexpectedly retired. I believe it was early June, after the draft, after free agency, and then we have to basically piece together offensive line. It was not a good situation for the Lions yet, and we had one of the hardest schedules in the NFL last year, and we still were top 5 in points. Yes, we went 9-8. Yes, it was not a good season, but man, the disrespect to Jared Goff to be a top 5 quarterback for the last 4 seasons, and you're going to go and put Caleb Williams over him, just pisses me off. He's not a top 10 quarterback yet. He's not. So you guys can disagree. I'm sure I'm going to get a shit ton of hate, because anytime you talk about the Bears in general, that fan base comes at you like no other. Which, by the way, you haven't beat the Lions yet, and I know it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. It's bound to happen. Maybe not. Maybe we're just gonna own the Bears forever. But man, I cannot stand the hype around Caleb Williams. And the reason why I can't stand the hype around him is it's not like I don't think that he can be a good quarterback. I think Caleb Williams can definitely be a good quarterback. He's shown flashes in the athleticism, and there's some of the stuff, but there's a lot of bad stuff too. He's not accurate. He, overthrowing guys. He's, it's just crazy. To put him as a top 10 quarterback, and Sam Darnold is not even there. Super Bowl winner. You know, like, and that's 2 solid seasons out of Sam Darnold. He should be in top 10 probably. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. It's tough for me to see Caleb Williams, and it's clear that Madden, him being on the cover, is what's pushing the Caleb Williams narrative. That he's been on the forefront of. I mean, you've seen the media run that they've done with him. They're constantly talking about him and pushing him. And it's like, I get it. He's the player that everyone is pushing right now. He's the hype. You know, that's where they're putting their eggs this year, is in Caleb Williams. Like we've seen in the past with like Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow. I mean, we've seen all these guys get their time to be pushed, but man, Caleb Williams has not done it yet for me. I'm sorry. I understand they had a really good season last year, you know, but again, if their defense didn't get the turnovers that they did, and obviously like whatever, it's just like it is highly unlikely that the defense gets as many turnovers. And if you watched any of those games, any Bears games, I mean, you know about it. You know, we saw the highlights in Green Bay with the crazy, basically Hail Mary throw and all that stuff. But they, through 3 quarters, couldn't do shit. And then in the 4th quarter, they finally get things going. And, you know, Caleb Williams makes you know, a couple big plays, and now he's just like the best quarterback ever. But yet through 3 quarters, he doesn't do shit and has terrible, you know, stats with, you know, incompletions and all that bullshit, you know. And yeah, I saw him come out and say that, oh yeah, my completion percentage is low because I throw the ball away and stuff like that. And it's just like, whatever, man. The fact is that majority of the games that the Bears played in, they were playing from behind until the 4th quarter, and the 4th quarter came, and then there was a comeback, and that's why they call him the Iceman. You know, I'm sorry, I just cannot stand the narrative around Caleb Williams right now. Again, I think it's just because he's on the cover of Madden, and I'm gonna get a shit ton of hate for this, and that's fine. I'm okay with it, but I'm not saying I don't think Caleb Williams has the potential to be good or great or be up there with, you know, the Josh Allens, Joe Burrows, all those guys. You know, it's not that I don't think that he could get to that point, but he's just not at that point yet, and people are talking like he is, and it drives me nuts. So, all that being said, here's the top 10 quarterbacks according to Madden. Matthew Stafford, Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, 1, 2, 3. Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes. Okay. Patrick Mahomes, number 5. I think that's pretty low for Patrick Mahomes. I don't know what he ranked in past. I would assume that he was higher in the past. And then you got Drake May, Dak Prescott, Justin Herbert. Justin Herbert making the top 10 quarterbacks. I mean, I really like Justin Herbert, and he had a pretty solid season last year, but I mean, they haven't won anything. I don't even think they've won a playoff game with Justin Herbert, you know? So it's just like, how are we gonna put him there, you know? Then Caleb Williams at 9, and then Jared Goff at 10. Disrespected Jared Goff. I don't know, but yeah. So that is the Madden top 10 quarterbacks. Let's go and look at the other positions. Top 10 wide receivers: Jamar Chase, Jackson Smith and Jigba, Puka Nacua, Amon-Ra St. Brown. Oh, another Detroit line in top 10. Oh, weird. Another position, top 10. Okay. Amon-Ra St. Brown, Justin Jefferson at 5. After a terrible season too, Justin Jefferson, but it's not Justin Jefferson's fault. The talent's still there. We all know that. Let's get that guy a quarterback and get him back to what we love, especially for fantasy football. All right, and then number 6, CeeDee Lamb, Drake London, Devontae Smith coming in at 8, Terry McLaurin at 9, and Mike Evans. There's that bottom half right there. Devontae Smith, Terry McLaurin, and Mike Evans. Kind of interesting. You know, that's putting over players like AJ Brown. Who else? I'm blanking right now on who else I think should go there. But I'm a little shocked on those last three being in there right now. Especially, I think the one that really sticks out to me is number 9, and it's Terry McLaurin. I'm not as high on Terry McLaurin as other people seem to be, but to be number 9, I think that I don't agree with that whatsoever. Especially like over like AJ Brown. AJ Brown should be there. All right, top 10 running backs. Oh, look, a Detroit Lion, number 1, Jahmyr Gibbs, and 98. Okay. Christian McCaffrey, Jonathan Taylor, Bijan Robinson at number 4. Kind of shocked by that a little bit, especially like when you think about it, like from a fantasy standpoint. You see, it's Jahmyr Gibbs 1 or Bijan Robinson. It's one of those two in rankings. Those are the two that everyone's flip-flopping, you know? And he is at number 4 on these rankings. James Cook, Derrick Henry, Saquon Barkley, Josh Jacobs, Kenneth Walker, and Kyron Williams. Not a terrible list. I'll say not a terrible list at all. I think this list is more so in line of what I would agree with. And then top 10 tight ends. Trey McBride coming in at 99 after a massive season last year. He comes in at number 1. George Kittle, Brock Bowers, Travis Kelce, Mark Andrews, Dallas Goedert, Sam Laporta. Oh, another Detroit Lion in the top 10. Are you telling me that there's a Detroit Lion, a Detroit Lion made in top 10 at each position in Madden? Really? But the Lions suck. They're not going to win the North. Yeah, right. Anyways, Hunter Henry, Tucker Kraft, and then Colston Loveland. Colston Loveland making top 10 after just one season coming in, making top 10. I like it, to be honest. I do think that Colston Loveland deserves to be there. But, you know, someone that's missing from this list, Tyler Warren. Kind of interesting to me. I personally think Tyler Warren should be in this top 10 tight end list for Madden. But hey, I mean, he only led the Colts in targets last year. That's it. No big deal. Finished as a tight end 4 in fantasy football. But he doesn't make the top 10 in Madden rating. So, yeah. Overall, not terrible top 10s for Madden. Definitely going to be getting this game. Probably do some live streams playing it as well. But yeah, I just wanted to go over those Madden ratings. Let me know in the comments who you disagree with. If you think any of these top 10 shouldn't be in there. And Bears fans, I already know you're going to be roasting me in the chat, because anytime you talk bad or don't say something positive about the Chicago Bears, which I just did, saying that Colston Loveland I think is a solid tight end and deserves to be in the top 10, maybe should be even higher over players like Tucker Kraft and Hunter Henry. But I know I'm going to get shit for the Caleb Williams stuff, which I'm okay with. But yeah, let me know in the comments. Let me know what you guys think about these Madden ratings. And yeah, let's get to a mock draft. Let me check some news first. Wow. Okay. Hold on. I'm not gonna play the video because I'm not sure of the rules as far as like what I'm able to play or not. When Baker Mayfield came out and says right here, Bucs quarterback Baker Mayfield says he felt disrespected and undervalued by the contract offers he received from the Bucs. He believes he's a franchise quarterback, says he's going to have a big year and that the team is going to have to pay for it in the end. So right there, he is betting on himself. Something that Baker Mayfield has done throughout his career is bet on himself since he was from the Browns, and then he moved to, where'd he go? Carolina, and then he played for the Rams for a quick second, and then he went to Tampa Bay. And man, he has played some solid football. Not only has he played some solid football, I don't know if you saw Quarterback, the Netflix series. He played through so many injuries last year. I believe he played through a PCL MCL sprain that he suffered like week 2, I believe, and he played through it the entire season, dealing with that. And then he dealt with bicep, what they thought was like a bicep tear or something, and then dealt with like a knee bruise, and he just played through a ton of injuries. And then coming into this season, he said, hey, I want to figure out this contract stuff before training camp. Well, that didn't happen, and he said once training camp starts, he's done. Like, contract talks done. Here we are, and Baker Mayfield comes out talking to the press and says that he feels disrespected and undervalued based on the contract offers that he received from the Bucs. So obviously the offers that the Bucs made, it doesn't seem like it's lining up for them believing that he is the future of the franchise, with him saying that kind of stuff. Maybe it is, but I don't know. It's I could see how he feels disrespected and undervalued, especially after playing what he played through last year. The Bucs as a whole dealt with a shit ton of injuries, so it makes sense that he would feel this way. But yeah, Baker Mayfield not happy. So we'll see how that plays out. And right here it says he's was very upfront and honest, and that's something, that's Baker Mayfield in a nutshell. That dude is very upfront. He's gonna say how he feels. He's gonna bet on himself, like right there. He said he's gonna have a big year, and the team's gonna have to pay for it in the end, because he's betting on himself to go out there and have a big year after not a great season at all. So for him to not get the contract and feel this way, he's gonna go out there and play his ass off, and hopefully get the big contract that he is hoping to get. All right, let me do another quick check to make sure there's not anything I don't think I'm really seeing anything. Okay. Yeah, so there's not really anything else going on to talk about right now. So I'm sure as the day goes on, we'll have more and more to talk about. Actually, we'll talk about this real quick, and then we'll get into a quick mock draft. But Lions head coach Dan Campbell during today's press conference this morning, talking about Jahmyr Gibbs, and he said, "You guys know what I feel about Gibbs. I'll leave it at that. All the other stuff, my job is to coach who's out there right now. I love the kid, but all the other stuff, it'll get done." So that's him talking about the hold in or hold out. I don't know if I think he is there. I just don't think he's out like on the practice field. So I think he's in the building from what I understand. But yeah, Dan Campbell is confident. I mean, who wouldn't be? Yeah, they're gonna get a deal done for Jahmyr Gibbs. This is just classic. This is just classic stuff. This is not anything malicious. I don't think there's any like bad blood or anything like that. And sometimes the media will portray it like that, but Dan Campbell makes it clear that that's his guy. He loves him. He knows that all that other stuff is going to get done. He's not sweating it. As a Lions fan, I'm not sweating it either. I know it's going to get done. So I don't mind it. But let's get to a mock draft to end this damn thing. And then again, I will likely be live later tonight. I think I'm gonna try to get a night stream in. Not 100% sure, but so you don't miss out, make sure you follow. If you're watching right now or you're watching after the fact, hit the follow button. Subscribe if you're on YouTube. Hit the like button as well. The like button, like I said, goes a long way for me. And we're gonna go and get into this mock draft. It's a 12-team full PPR. I'm gonna go from pick 4. Let's see how this goes. Kind of feeling a 0 RB build, but I think that's what I want to do here. So I'm gonna do a 0 RB build, and we'll see how it all goes up. But here we go. All right, 0 RB. We got Puka Nacua, Jackson Smith and Jigba, Amon-Ra St. Brown. I love Puka. Honestly, Matthew Stafford has been such a great quarterback that it seems wherever he goes, whatever wide receiver he has, he brings the greatness out of them. Puka Nacua has benefited from that. Can't go wrong with him there. Back to me, we got Rashee Rice, George Pickens, Nico Collins, Chris Olave, Malik Neighbors. We talked about him. He's looking good. And, right now, the ADP does not reflect how he currently is performing right now. Obviously, Rashee Rice, Nico Collins, Malik Neighbors is what I'm looking at. And I'm going to go with Nico Collins over Rashee Rice. And then hopefully, nope, there goes Malik Neighbors. I was hoping that Malik Neighbors would make it back to me, but that is okay. I'm okay with that. So let's go. We're going to go another wide receiver. We got Chris Olave, which I like Chris Olave, but I don't know why. I just do not like clicking on him. He's been good. Even last season he was good. And this is probably a bad thought process by me, and don't feel like you need to share the same thought process, and obviously if you don't, you don't. But the Chris Olave situation, he's had so many concussions that I believe it caused him to, it was last season that caused him to miss him some time. But it's like he's had so many that it's getting scary to the point that if he gets another one that 2 weeks that it usually is turns into 4 or 5 weeks. You know what I mean? Like the protocol just gets extended the more and more you get concussions. Not saying that you can predict that, but that makes me not want to click on him. I'm going to go with T. Higgins here. I love the Cincinnati Bengals this season. They boosted that defense that they desperately needed to do. They focused on that this offseason. They did lose a defender yesterday. I don't have the name on the top of my head, but they did lose a defender yesterday, which is unfortunate. But this offense, we know Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, we know those guys are great for fantasy football. We know they're going to go put up points. Hopefully they finally got a defense to kind of take some of the pressure off. Obviously for fantasy football, we love when the defense is bad because that means they need to put up points. So maybe that does affect the fantasy output of someone like T. Higgins. But man, he has been great for being a wide receiver too. He's a wide receiver 1 on a lot of teams. So being able to be productive even behind Jamar Chase, I don't mind grabbing him. And then I'm going to go with Zay Flowers here. This Baltimore Ravens offense is going to look completely different. Now, I do have a little bit of concern with the offensive line. They did lose their center, Tyler Linderbaum, who we all know that he was the best center that they could in free agency. Bozen signs with the Raiders, which is why Ashton Genty pretty promising for him this year. I think that offensive line is going to help open up some holes for him. But I think Zay Flowers solid, getting him in the 4th round. But now let's try to go for some running backs here. We got Cam Scatterbo, David Montgomery, Bashal Tootin, and I am gonna go with Cam Scatterbo here as my first running back. We'll see what running backs make it back to me. But being in the 5th round, now we're gonna start attacking some running backs, doing this 0 RB build. But not too bad so far. We got Puka Nacua, Nico Collins, T. Higgins, Zay Flowers, Cam Scatterbo, and now we're going to go with another running back here. And we got Jalen Warren, Chuba Hubbard, Jadarian Price, Ramondre, Tony Pollard. And I'm going to go with Jadarian Price. They invested a 1st-round pick into this guy. I already saw highlights of him catching passes, which we want in PPR leagues, and that's what this is a full PPR. So I like Jadarian Price. I think he's one of the better value running backs, especially if you're doing the 0 RB build for you to target. Now let's continue to look. We got 2 running backs. Let me look at tight ends. Yeah, I'm not going to go for a tight end now. Look at quarterback. We got anyone that I feel like I want to pair up, maybe? No, I'm not seeing anybody. So, again, we'll do 3 running backs in a row here. I'm looking at Tony Pollard here, maybe Rico Dowdle. I'm gonna go with Tony Pollard here. There is a little bit unknown with the Tennessee Titans. They complete wiped house with the coaching staff. So whole new coaching staff. This offense should look a whole lot different. But Tony Pollard has been a solid running back. So I don't mind grabbing him there. And now it is back to me. And I feel like I should go for another running back. You know that? We go 4-4. Oh man. Let's see. Got J.K. Dobbins that I'm looking at here. You know, I feel confident in Cam Scatterbo. Jadarian Price, I feel pretty confident in. I feel like, you know, Zach Charbonnet, there was reports that came out, and I didn't talk about it. There's reports that Charbonnet could potentially be ready for week 1. I don't know. I would be surprised. The Seahawks obviously moved on from Ken Walker. So I think there's a good chance that Jadarian Price is worth the pickup. But we got J.K. Dobbins. When he's healthy, he's been really good. We could go for someone like that. Let's take a look at tight ends. I don't think I'm going to go for a tight end right now. Nor do I think I'm going to go for a quarterback right now. So I am going to go for J.K. Dobbins here. When healthy, he's been a solid runner. Obviously, I do have a little bit of concern of like, what is RJ Harvey going to look like this season coming into the second year? Will he take the lead and be favored? Let me pull up real quick over here. You guys are not going to be able to see this, but looking at the splits last year, it was favorable for J.K. Dobbins, and then he through the first 10 weeks it was pretty spread out a little bit, but J.K. Dobbins was in that 53, 45, 67, 44, 53, 50, 49, 52, 46, 52% of snaps and before the injury, and then he was out. But the fact that he was so productive in those 10 games, despite, you know, it being split, and those splits weren't even with RJ Harvey. This was spread out between 4 running backs. So RJ Harvey, his hit during those first 10 weeks, 29, 33, 29, 41, 20, 28, 25, 27, 32, 28, you know. And then J.K. Dobbins got hurt, and we saw R.J. Harvey hit the 61%, 47, 68, 68, 59, 65, 56, you know? So there is the concern that R.J. Harvey could have a bigger role here, but I don't mind grabbing J.K. Dobbins. I think he's a solid running back. But now let's go for a... No, I'm not gonna go for a quarterback. Actually, let's get our tight end. And the tight end I'm looking at, we got George Kittle coming off of Achilles. Don't love that. We got Jake Fergie. He's been a solid tight end, but the guy I'm looking at here is Dallas Goedert. I think Dallas Goedert is one of the better tight ends that you can draft later in rounds. You know, with AJ Brown no longer there, we saw in the absence of AJ Brown, Dallas Goedert always has been a favorite of Jalen Hurts. Now, no AJ Brown. They did go in draft a wide receiver. So Devontae Smith is the main guy, but I do think that Dallas Goedert is going to benefit from the absence of AJ Brown in this offense. So I don't mind grabbing him there. Isaiah Likely's sitting here too. I do like Isaiah Likely as well, but I think Dallas Goedert is going to be in a solid position this season, especially for fantasy football. So we have 3 more spots, bench spots, defense, and a quarterback. Looking at the quarterback situation here, honestly, I think I'm going to wait. I think I'm going to wait on the quarterback situation. Let's take a look at running backs. Is there any running backs that I feel like I want to take a shot on? No. So I'm going to go with a Wide receiver, we got Jaden Reed, Josh Downs, Stephon Diggs, who's not on a team yet, but he will. I do think the Commanders should go out and get Stephon Diggs. That would be a huge boost to that offense. But I am going to go with Josh Downs here. No more Michael Pittman there. They didn't bring in anyone that is going to take away significant amount of targets. So it's Alec Pierce, Josh Downs, and then we got Tyler Warren, who I think are going to be the main target share holders on this team. And without Michael Pittman, I think he had like 111 targets last year. So roughly there's 111 targets to be spread out between Josh Downs, Alec Pierce, and Tyler Warren. And Josh Downs has been a solid value receiver for the last it feels like the last few seasons. He's been a solid fantasy value to pick up. Now he hasn't really. I mean, there was a good stretch that if you were starting him, you were happy, but I think we could see more consistent. I think he had around 80 targets last season. If we can get him up to that 100 mark, I think it's going to be a steal either way, him going this late in draft. So one of my favorite value or later round wide receivers with Josh Downs. And now let's see. We got 2 more bench spots. We are heavy. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wide receivers. So let me see. Yeah, might as well go for another running back. Why not take a shot on a running back? Jordan Mason. I think he's gonna be the at least the running back that's in on first and second down, and then bring in Aaron Jones, who's a lot older, as the pass catcher. Kind of surprised that Aaron Jones is still playing, to be honest. He had some decent games last year, but I just feel like that dude's getting old. But so I could go Jordan Mason here, but there's been a lot of reports talking about Jonathan Brooks, him being used as a pass catcher. Obviously, the situation is very unknown, and being this late in drafts, I think I'll take a shot on someone in a PPR format that has the potential to be used a lot in the passing game, which I've already seen stuff about him lining up as a receiver and stuff. I'm gonna go with Jonathan Brooks here. Let's take a shot here. Like I said, I feel like we already have our foundation of running back, so I don't mind taking a shot there. And then so now we need one more bench spot, and then a quarterback, and then our defense. So let's take a look at the QBs here. It looks like everyone has a quarterback, and it looks like this team here drafted multiple quarterbacks. So multiple teams with multiple quarterbacks, which honestly, I don't know about your leagues. These are obviously doing a mock draft with computers here, but in my leagues, there's multiple people that draft multiple quarterbacks in a single quarterback. It drives me nuts, to be honest, because you'll have someone that will draft someone like Lamar Jackson or something like that, and then they'll go and draft someone like Trevor Lawrence or Jackson Dart, you know what I mean? So they'll have multiple quarterbacks, or Dak. That's a classic one that I'll see, like someone that drafts a quarterback very early will draft someone like Dak or someone like that. And in these kind of format, I think it's a waste of pick to draft multiple quarterbacks. My opinion. I don't know if you agree or not, but personally, that's how I feel. I am going to go for a quarterback, though. I just feel like I should. And I'm looking at Kyler Murray and Tyler Shuck. Tyler Shuck, honestly, is pretty appealing to me. Through the last half of last year, I believe he was a top 10 quarterback. If you go from like week, was it week 10? I believe he started getting the start, something like that. I'm not going to pull up the stats right now, but he was a top 10 quarterback through the last half of the season, I believe. And you know what? I'm going to quickly double check that because I don't want to be wrong and get killed in the comments. Well, let's see here. So let's go week 18. I got time. I'm just gonna draft Tyler Shuck though. I'm gonna draft Tyler Shuck, and then let's see. Yeah, from week 10 to week 18, he was a top 10 quarterback. So he has that rushing upside. The Saints are getting better. Believe it or not, the Saints are getting better. It's been a rough few years, but they seem to be on track. You know, and I think they found something with Tyler Shuck. And like I said, top 10 quarterback last year through from week 10 to 18. So the last 8 weeks, he was a top 10 quarterback overall. So solid numbers for Tyler Shuck last year. Hopefully he continues to build on that. That's the goal, is to build on it. Let's not see any regression. Let's see him build on that. We'll see how that goes. But we need to pick a defense in another bench spot. So I'm going to take a look at the wide receivers. And, you know, Jalen Naylor is someone that I've been drawn to, especially drafting late. But with all the injuries going on, with the 49ers, this guy is going to get boosted. The 110%. He's not going to be going this late in drafts by the time people start drafting in their leagues. Unless they're drafting right now, you probably still can get away with getting him probably going undrafted in a lot of leagues. But by the time end of August comes, this guy is not going to be going undrafted, and it is Deshaun Stribling. With all the injuries with the 49ers, I think it's a great opportunity for him. Ricky Pearsall dealing with that knee injury, potentially needing surgery, which will knock him out for the entire season. So that automatically gives him the leap to potentially be the wide receiver 2 behind Mike Evans, especially because also Christian Kirk suffered a calf strain. He's expected to be out. I wouldn't be surprised if the 49ers went out and brought in Deebo Samuel. But right now, Deshaun Stribling is making noise in training camp, making some good plays that is catching a lot of people's attention. And, you know, right now, like I said, he's being being undrafted. As time goes on, this news cycle, you know, gets pushed. His ADP is excuse me. His ADP is gonna rise. So I don't mind taking a shot on Deshaun Stribling, and we'll see how that plays out as we get closer to the end of August. And for my defense, let's see, Seahawks, Eagles, Cowboys are interesting. Yeah, I am going to go with the Seattle Seahawks as my defense. And that is going to wrap it up. So this was a 0 RB build draft that I did. 4th pick overall. And let's see how I did. Let me know in the comments what you think about my draft here. I'm sure there's going to be people that disagree with how my approach, the running backs that I chose, all that kind of shit. Let me know. I want to know in the comments. Let me know what you like, what you didn't like, what you agree, what you disagree. I want to know this stuff. But here is the final lineup. Tyler Shuck, Cam Skattebo, Jadarian Price, Puka Nacua, Nico Collins, Dallas Goedert, T. Higgins, Zay Flowers, Seattle Seahawks as the defense. Then we got on our bench Tony Pollard, J.K. Dobbins, Josh Downs, Jonathan Brooks, and Dejon Stribling. Overall, I think it's a pretty solid team. I don't know. I think I'd be pretty happy about that. I mean, there are a lot of, those wide receivers are pretty freaking solid. Not only that, it allows you to have some trade bait, like you have someone, you're not going to be able to, you could start all these wide receivers. You could, but like the chances of you starting all these wide receivers, this is a double flex league. So, my league is only a single flex. But right here, I have it set up for double flex. In a double flex league, sure, maybe you will start all these wide receivers. But in a different format where you only have one flex spot and you only can start 3 wide receivers, that is good. Good ammo to go out and target, a couple weeks in, if you realize like, hey, this zero RB build, it's been tough. Let me go and target a running back and let me use some of my elite wide receivers like a Zay Flowers or someone like that, Nico Collins. You know what I mean? Like you have the option to go out and you have the ammo to go out and go make a trade. So overall, I think a pretty solid draft here. Again, let me know in the comments what you think about the draft. Hit that thumbs up button, subscribe to the channel, and yeah, catch you back here for the next one. All right, so that was a quick mock draft there, and yeah, I went way over of what I thought I was gonna today. Shout out to Ridwat over on Twitch for the follow. Thank you for the follow. I did not realize, I did not see that. I don't know if you're still chilling, hanging out. I appreciate the follow. But that is going to do it for me for right now. I am going to, like I said, make sure you're subscribed to the channel. Make sure you're following over on X, Instagram, anywhere that you have on social media. Go follow Line 'em Up Sports is the handle across all platforms except on X, because there's some freaking garbage company that has Line 'em Up Sports as their freaking username, and they haven't been active since like I don't know. It's been not that long. It's been like a year or two, but it wasn't an active account at all. So it's Line 'em Up Fantasy over on X. So make sure you're following over on there. I'm posting a lot on X. You got follow on Threads, wherever you are on social media. I definitely probably have a account over there. I'm posting everywhere, trying to put content out. So make sure you're following over on those platforms. And yeah, like I said, there's a good chance I will be live later tonight. So make sure you are subscribed and following, so you know if I am. And if I am, come hang out. We'll just sit and talk about the news that comes through today, and we'll react, and we'll probably do some more mock drafts, and maybe even do a best ball draft over on DraftKings. So again, my goal here to wrap this up, and I'm not going to do this every stream, but I feel like I'm going to have to for a little bit as we get going. But my goal here is to not be the expert, the know-it-all. No, I follow the NFL very, very, very close, and I do a lot of research, and not only for NFL. I do MLB, NBA, very involved in sports betting when it comes to those sports. So I definitely have the knowledge. I do the research, but I just want to create a community where people can come hang out and, have similar passions for sports and sports betting and stuff like that, and just create a space, a safe space, if you will, for people to come in, sweat some bets, talk some fantasy football, talk some shit, disagree, agree. You know, let's talk it out. There's a lot to talk about, especially when it comes to the NFL. Things are heating up. Training camp is underway. A lot happening. A lot of injuries. A lot of moves. A lot of speculation. Love that kind of shit. So make sure you are following, subscribe, hit that like button, and I am out of here. I'll catch you guys probably later. Peace.